it's not just injuries. This Lakers roster, man, it's one that a lot of us have overlooked this season, but man, Rui Hachimura has been a revelation for this Lakers
Like you,
team.
right? You.
What
You
about
were the
me?
one that literally 2 days ago said the Lakers' benches is not.
I actually said I don't trust Rui Hachimura to shoot 50, 60% from three-point range, and so did Desmond Bain. And since that point, he has continued to shoot 11 of 16 from three-point range, 65%. Look, the Grizzlies know how to beat the Lakers, and that was to just sit on the high block, stay in the driving lanes, on the nail, wait for one of those drives from LeBron, and then double team him. Because if you're in that area, the high block, when he's driving, you can cut that off and you can double team AD. Now you're putting a lot of pressure on those other three players on the floor to make shots. And Rui Hachimura, when he's wide open, is just knocking down everything. And he's taking a lot of that pressure off of LeBron so he can get open driving lanes and Anthony Davis so that he can go one on one. Rui Hachimura at the same time, though, can take it in transition. He's one of the best, I would say, one of the best wings attacking closeouts as well as knocking off the catch, no problem. He can also do it himself off the dribble, too. He's got a good left hand. He's 6'8", so defensively, he gives you some size. He can pass it a little bit. Man, I have been absolutely blown away with him. And this last, like, he only shot 30% for the Lakers in the first round in the regular season. But so far, through 3 games in the first round, he's fitting in as the perfect just spark plug that they've lacked throughout the entire LeBron era. Even when they won a championship in 2020, they didn't have that energizer bunny that at a great size can also hit shots and create for himself in the flow of the game.
True. Listen, Hachi has been a godsend for these Lakers. Um, I One thing I do want to point out is I do think listen, I love that AD's playing 39 minutes and he's showing out there. But one thing that shocks me, I don't know, maybe other people disagree. I thought Mo Bamba would get a little bit more playing time. I'm not saying play him 20 minutes or anything like that, but just to have so when AD's off the court, you still have a 7-footer out there. He can make open 3-pointers so he can stretch the floor. I just thought, like 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. Like when AD's playing the last 2 minutes of the first quarter, I've noticed this in the last couple of games. That's kind of when AD kind of takes like a back seat a little bit. Like you don't see the energy as much anymore. It's because he's been playing the last 10 minutes basically. So that's where I'm like, put Mo Bamba in for the last 2 minutes of the first quarter, maybe first 2 minutes of the second quarter, then AD comes back in. I'm not preaching Mo Bamba gets 20, 25 minutes. Just a spell for AD for a little bit, right?
I kind of do agree. In the theory of Mo Bamba will be a great backup center. I don't know if Darvinham would trust him at all in this
Yeah,
minute.
and it's not like I mean, Memphis is small right now too. Like they don't have the size. So I mean, Mo Bamba would come in there and he'd be the tallest guy on the court, uh, pretty easily. Uh, but yeah, I'm sticking with Lakers in 6. I'm gonna be honest. I think the Lakers have a very good shot to win Game 4 back in LA, and if they do that, I could see Memphis winning Game 5 back on their home court, and then LA closing it out in Game 6. I don't know about you if you're rethinking this series, if you're changing your pick, but I'm sticking with my not my Lakers, but Lakers in 6.
So you had this playing out like the Warriors series last year. Look, man, I predicted the Grizzlies to win this series, right? And they won without John Morant in game 2. But when the Lakers play like they did yesterday with a sense of urgency and Rui shooting the lights out, Austin Reeves, even when he's not making shots, he's grabbing 4 offensive rebounds. He's making hustle plays defensively. He's finishing in transition, and he's drawing in once. Those two wings that they have added in have changed the entire game. And so I think 2 months ago, Brandon, you and I made a video that the Lakers are much better than you think. And those are two guys who were in the mix, but it really wasn't until a few weeks later that Austin just started to completely take his game into a completely different level without LeBron. So with those two playing so well, you've got Troy Brown contributing. He had a pretty huge block in the first quarter on John Morant. Look, this does feel like the Warriors series from last year because the Grizzlies should be double teaming and tripling AD the way they did in game 2. But I just don't think John Morant will continue to play as well as he did in the second half. I mean, he had an out of body experience. We didn't even mention it. He went 6 of 10 from three-point range, scored 22 straight points, got to the foul line 14 times. For a guy that damn near broke his wrist 6 days before, having 45 points, 13 assists, and also 9 rebounds was insane. But I don't expect Ja to continue shooting that well from three-point. And I said when the Grizzlies win the series, it'll be because Ja Morant's the best player. And while he can be that, I don't know, man. Anthony Davis has been, even on his worst night offensively, has been an absolute dynamo where they cannot penetrate at the rim. And that's where the Grizzlies need to go in transition. So having seen this matchup for 3 games and the fit implications, the lack of scoring at the rim, it's really, I think, deflated this Grizzlies team in some ways. And so, long story short, I have the Lakers winning this, but it's not to say the Grizzlies aren't going to make this competitive, because the Lakers are going to have to earn every single win from here on out.
Yeah, Lakers in 6 or Lakers in 7?
I'll go
I'll go
Lakers,
Lakers
in
in
7.
7.
Lakers in 7. So listen, my one criticism for LeBron James in this series is just he is taking way too many 3-pointers for my liking. Now, last night he only took 4, missed every single one of them. But I think the previous 2 games he took 8, if I'm not mistaken. It's just, and I know at this point of his career, that's kind of what LeBron has become more of, is he's going to take those 3-point shots because his legs just aren't there to, kind of go through an entire game pounding and driving into the middle of the lane. So I understand that. It's just, for me, 8 3-pointers is a little much. I like it more around 4 to 5 for LeBron because he's not a very good 3-point shooter. I think we all know that. He can get hot. He's had streaks where he has made, a lot of 3-pointers, but we all know LeBron at the end of the day is not a very good 3-point shooter. So that's just for me. I mean, he was the only starter on the court last night that had a minus and plus minus. He was -6. Every other starter was a plus.